Okay, so now we've got our favorite sexpert. Is that what we're calling you these
I love
days?
it. Yeah, I guess so.
Julie Jeske. Okay, so we had homework.
We had homework, and last week you said an ooh baby kiss.
Ooh baby kiss.
Once every day.
Once every day, yeah.
I gotta say, even for the engaged person over here, it's not always so easy to be like, baby, come here, I'm gonna really, you know, rock this kiss right now, you know? I mean, I wasn't thinking of it as homework, I just thought it was for the old married lady here, you know? But I gotta say, it was good homework.
Good, I'm glad, I'm glad.
I kind of forgot about
You always forget about your homework, don't you?
Well, it's
I'm gonna like pin it to your, a note to your shirt when you go home.
My husband was listening though to the week before because he said to me, we spend 10 minutes of quality time. Was that what it was? 10 minutes, 3 times a week?
3 times, yep.
And so he was like doing a check with me to make sure we did that. So he was listening.
I love it.
Yeah.
So this week we're talking about, can men and women just be friends? Really, really, can they just be friends? And we actually have a poll. We asked some folks out there, and let's share the results, and we'll come back and chat a little bit about it. So here's what you had to say. A whopping almost 70% of you said, yes, men and women can just be friends. Some, you know, only if both are single, if they've never dated each other. Julie, you're going to talk all about this in a little bit, but a little tease, what do you think?
Well, I did a little poll of my own, too, on Facebook and Twitter, and got very similar results. People feel really strongly. Most people that I've talked to say absolutely.
Yeah.
And I agree with them, but I also agree that sometimes there are a few things you have to pay attention to so that you don't have problems, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, it was very controversial at our morning meeting this morning. We were all... So,
I know. I think the level of friendship matters in this. All right. So much more on that in just a little bit.
Okay. So speaking of going crazy,
I know, Julie Jeske.
And we're talking about that age-old question: can men and women just be friends? It's like the big when Harry met Sally thing.
Well, and age-old to some extent, but I think men and women are coming into contact more now in different ways because of the workplace.
Absolutely. So if you think about the way men and women were raised in the past, it was very much, you know, the different genders were kind of kept to themselves. Little girls played with dolls, little boys played with trucks. They grew up, women stayed home and took care of the family, men went off to work. And things have changed. And so our generation, you know, generations that are coming up after us as well, are coming into contact with mixed genders more often, and they're also kind of blurring the lines of traditional gender roles as well.
Okay, so what are the good things that can come from a true male-female friendship?
Yes. Some of the similar good things that could happen with any gendered relationship, but then also if we're looking at kind of traditional gender roles, women can often be more emotional, more talkative. If you think about guys sitting around chatting, doesn't have the same visual as you think about women sitting around chatting. So if men are friends with women, sometimes they can have that emotional, that communicative outlet. And the same with women. Sometimes women are like, oh, the cattiness that can happen between women, or just the, you know, processing and the emotions and talking. Being with their male friends, they can just kind of joke and be playful and kind of let things not be so serious.
But there can be problems when it comes to male-female relationships. And, you know, there are movies based on this. One likes the other one's not interested. I mean, what kinds of things do you see as a problem?
That can be complicated when there's an imbalance in the attraction. So if one person likes the person, likes one and the other doesn't, that can lead to problems. If one person, you know, if they both say, well, we're just going to be friends, nothing's going to happen between us, and then one person tries to pursue something, that can be very difficult as well. It gets more complicated if one of the friends is in a relationship too.
Yes, and so can that work? Because on our, we did this poll, and a lot of people are saying, no problem, that can work. But I know I would feel weird if my husband was really good friends with a girl.
Yeah, and so we need to look at the definition of really good friends too. You know, what level are we taking this friendship to? Is this your confidant? Is this someone you're spending tons of time with? Are you taking trips with this friend? Because we do that with friends, right? I go out with my girlfriends. I go away with my girlfriends. If I did that with a guy friend, that might cause some problems.
Just one or two, right?
So we need to kind of look at what we mean by friendship. I'm friendly with my friends' husbands, absolutely. I'm friendly with my husband's friends, his male friends, yes. I have a really great, you know, couple of really great gay friends who my husband's not worried about anything happening with, you know. But if your relationship, if there's jealousy involved, that can make it tricky. If there's been infidelity in the past, then radars are going to start to go up a little bit as well. And if there's been attraction in the past, that can make it a little bit tricky too. And
I think there's the physical side, but going back to the first part of what you said in terms of how close is the friendship, what do you do, are they your confidant? It seems like there's that emotional connection that can be a problem too, because if I'm telling another friend, another male friend, the problems on my heart or the things that I'm thinking about, and I'm not sharing that with my partner or husband, then that can get to be
I do not recommend that at all. If you have a really strong, healthy relationship with your partner, it's going to be a little bit easier to have friends outside of the relationship. But if you're not sharing things with your partner and then you're turning around and telling your best friend those things, your secrets, your desires, you're kind of playing with fire.
And I would think that inevitably that those people would form some sort of romantic relationship.
This little secret,
why else would they be talking about those things?
If a good friend becomes your secret keeper and your partner isn't, then you're giving that person something you're not giving your partner anymore. And then that can cause problems. You throw in some alcohol one evening, and then that could cause even more problems.
Okay, so what do you do if your partner is just really jealous and there's really no reason for them to be jealous and you don't want to lose that friendship?
Right.
How do you deal with that?
So then we talk about it and say, well, what is your fear? Why are you so jealous? What are you worried about happening? And maybe it's that you'll have this emotional relationship with someone else or a physical relationship. And then maybe it's, well, I don't feel really close to you anymore. And here you have this other person you talk about all the time. So then you work on improving your partnership. And making that stronger.
And you were saying, okay, so alcohol, probably like lots of alcohol, something to avoid with these people. Any other like situations that
romantic situations. Right. Sexual tension-filled situations. You know, sometimes people can do really well with flirting. It can kind of infuse energy into your own personal relationship too. If you see your partner kind of, you know, other people are attracted to them, it can be like, ooh, they think he's sexy, that's kind of fun, right? So a little bit of that can be okay, but if you're putting yourself in a situation where there's a lot of sexual tension, that can be a recipe for disaster.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know if I feel... on that poll, I did not vote yes.
I didn't
men and women can be friends.
I didn't either. And I don't consider either of us like jealous types. No. I just think, well, I wouldn't do that. So
I think there's fine lines, right? And I think that, I don't think it's a yes or no answer. I think it depends. That answer that I used to hate to hear in school all the time.
Well, like the guy we had on right before you, put him on the spot, and he's like, well, there's all these qualifiers. And you know,
absolutely, there are. So you have to do what feels best for you. No one can tell you whether it's appropriate, but you have to make sure what you're doing, your intention behind it, is that you're truly looking for a friendship, not that you're looking for someone else that you can be with if your relationship isn't successful.
Okay, so what do you have coming up for us next week?
So next week we're going to stay on the friend train, and we're going to talk about what to do if you are a social person or you have a lot of friends and your partner doesn't.
Yeah, that has been an issue with people I've known, so that should be interesting.
All right, well, if any of you want to learn a little bit more about what's going on with Julie, we've got her website, juliejeske.com, and you blog, of course, and we always love getting questions for Julie as well, so you can email us.
Okay, thanks, Julie.